You're watching Reality Check. Tonight, the Congress may have once again chosen to paper over the crisis that has engulfed the party, but the cracks are surfacing as top leaders give vent to their anger. Now, on Sunday, the high-level Congress Working Committee, convened in the aftermath of the party's election debacle, went through a by-now-familiar playbook. The meeting ideally should have been a forum for some frank talking on the disastrous showing, especially the role of a leadership seen as largely adrift. But instead, the party fell back on the familiar playbook. Sonia Gandhi, in her speech, reportedly offering that she and her family are willing to make any sacrifice, indicating their willingness to resign if the party so wants, while the loyalists predictably rallied behind the Gandhi family with loud protestations.
नहीं, गांधी फैमिली के बारे में कुछ कहा जाता है, इसलिए उन्होंने कहा कि अगर आपको लगे कोई हमें सैक्रिफाइस करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं, हम कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिए सब कुछ सैक्रिफाइस कर सकते हैं, ऐसा ही कही कि हम कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी की भलाई के लिए सब कुछ सैक्रिफाइस कर सकती है, अगर आपको ये लगे तो कोई हमें कोई परवाह नहीं, तो सब मिलकर हमें कहे नहीं ये कोई बात ही नहीं है.
But not all are towing the party line. In Punjab, in which the ruling Congress was wiped out, the former state Congress President Sunil Jakhar took aim at the party's choice for the chief ministerial candidate Charanjit Channi. He tweeted a reply to an article which said that the Congress top brass in Punjab had pulled down Channi, an asset created by Rahul Gandhi. Jakhar tweeted, "An asset? Are you joking? Thank God he wasn't declared a national treasure by the CWC, by the same lady who proposed him as CM. Maybe an asset for her, but for the party he's not only been a liability, but his own greed has pulled him and the party down." Now, I spoke exclusively to Sunil Jakhar earlier and began by asking him, what exactly did he mean? I'm joined by Sunil Jakhar. He's the senior Congress leader from Punjab. He's been the state Congress president in Punjab. Thank you very much indeed, Jakhar Saab, for joining us. Now, of all the states where the Congress suffered a setback, Punjab was the most severe, and you've come out quite strongly about this. But before we come to the specifics of what you said and what you tweeted, just wanted to understand from you, because this is the first chance we're getting to talk to you after that Punjab debacle where the Congress fell from 77 to 18 seats, wiped out by the Aam Aadmi Party. What do you think fundamentally went wrong for the Congress in Punjab?
First of all, thank you, Srinivasji, for allowing me to vent my feelings on your channel.
Yes.
There's a whole long litany of problems, or what you call issues, which could have been handled otherwise. But I think we went on compounding one mistake after the other. The script for this entire scenario, which has rolled out in the last 4 or 5 months, was, I think, written by Harish Rawat ji. He came to Punjab with a set agenda. And I remember very well, he was appointed just a week or 2 weeks before Rahul ji came to Punjab for this famous tractor yatra, even before all the farmers had gone to Delhi.
He was the Congress in charge for Punjab, yes.
He was the General Secretary in charge for Punjab. And the first meeting he had with the Congress MLAs was after Rahul ji had left on the 8th of October. In Punjab Congress Bhavan, and I think that day itself, if you read my statements, I will send you the clippings. I had suspected what he was up to, and then only I said, if this is what he has come with a bent of mind, then might as well just why to go around in public and get Sunil Jakhar removed.
What was his agenda? What was that agenda?
His agenda, what he called was to bring in this Rafale. He called this now the PCC president, Navjot Singh Sidhu ji, the Rafale, that this is a Rafale of Congress, and we want to, he didn't say it in as many words, but he went against me, said Sunil has not kept the party together, and there are many issues. So that's all fine, and I said, rather than going public, I think you should have come with a dismissal letter for me, rather than coming out. In fact, I had just accepted Mrs. Gandhi's command when she asked me to continue, because I had submitted my resignation. So Sunil is not the issue here. The issue was that he came with the agenda. He got it implemented at the cost of putting this bickering between Captain Saab and
so you're saying, no, just to understand, you're saying that his single agenda was to bring in Sidhu as Congress president.
I felt so. He never shared it with him because I didn't have any much interaction with him. I told Khadge Sahab when this meeting held that he may be in charge of Punjab Congress, but I never accepted him as my in charge because the kind of people he was associating with, and I told him on his face that I'm sorry, I would not like to associate with somebody who deals with these kind of people. You may be in charge of Congress, but you can't be in charge of me. It's fine. And I think he carried that grudge and whatever it played out.
So how was that disastrous for you as a party? Because you were the state in charge,
Yes.
you were replaced, Sidhu was brought in.
Yes.
How did that hurt you?
No, it didn't hurt me.
No,
Yeah,
not
I
hurt you
felt-
meaning the Congress. I'm saying
Yeah, it hurt.
because
hurt
it triggered a war between the captain and Sidhu.
Yes, this kind of thing could have been handled. These things are water under the bridge now. That could have been handled in a different way. We have said it time and again. There are ways and means. There has to be a succession plan. Even for a company also there is a succession plan. And if we wanted to remove, it should have been all this corona and lack of communication and depending only on Harish Rawat or General Secretary in charge. I think better communication lines need to be established. which were missing.
So one big mistake was, as you said, bringing in Sidhu, and that created this constant war. What was the other? No, so let's come to the next.
He could have been brought in an amicable way to, if they can now talk about who will be the CM face, which I think is ridiculous. After you have nominated Channi and then the question is being raised, who will be the next chief minister? I think that was undermining the choice of Channi himself. And I think why did Channi even agree to it, or Sidhu agreed that let's Rahulji decide about who's going to be the CM face. Once you have a CM, you are talking about putting somebody else in his place. It's like having some general win a war for you, and then you say that you will appoint somebody else as the general after the war is done. No, this is not the way it's done. But if it was to be done, then he could have been told that let Captain Sahab be the CM, you work with him, and we will put you the CM.
Right. So that's another important point you're making, that once you've appointed Channi as CM, how can you once again say that the question of who will be CM face is wide open and Rahul will decide. Now, let's come to the third thing about the appointment of Channi itself, which you actually tweeted. We'll put up that tweet. You tweeted a reply to an article which said the Congress top brass in Punjab pulled down Channi, who was an asset created by Rahul Gandhi. You tweeted saying, an asset? Are you joking? Thank God he wasn't declared a national treasure at CWC by the PBI lady who proposed
PBI is
CM.
Punjabi. Sorry,
PBI is Punjabi lady.
Yeah.
He has he's not been an asset, he's been a liability. His own greed, that is Channi's own greed, has pulled him and the party down.
Yes. I stand by every word that I've written.
So what is this? When you said Channi's greed, what do you mean by that?
Rather than beating around the bush, Vastuji, my take is that you cannot fight corruption with corruption. This need of badlav and everybody talking about badlav and from Rawats and the likes of him kept on saying, even the MLAs, everybody joined the chorus, and that there should be a change. This regime is seen as a corrupt regime and the hand in glove with the Akalis. That's why the need for change came in. And he was brought in as a man hailing from a poor family, poor background.
Yes.
And then the poor guy is caught with his hand in the till 10th day of his having taken over as the chief minister. Not just 10 crore rupees in cash are found at one of his family members' place, but there are another 25 crore rupees which nobody is talking about, which are in his account, which they have not been able to explain. Where is the source of this income?
You're talking of the money. Just to remind our viewers, you're talking of the raids on Channi's relatives on the sand mining case, in which unaccounted cash was found at Channi's relative's house.
Yes. It shattered the kind of image. Rahulji believed in his being from a poor background. Like he placed his trust, and this guy is caught red-handed. What more do you expect? Then this whole aura built about his being poor and whatnot. Whether or not credibility can be attributed to these AD raids, because the credibility of the central government is also now shattered. Like they are going after
that's what I was about to say. that the
Yeah.
Congress party took a position that these raids are politically motivated against
Yes,
Channi.
yes, they are.
But you're
They
saying
are,
he was
sir.
caught with his hand in the till.
Yes, I'm saying it. And I was the one who said that, yes, the credibility cannot, like one cannot believe in these raids. If they were to be, this guy had to be raided. In fact, the case on which was registered in 2018, I was traveling with Captain Saab when this photograph of this sand mining place took place. And I insisted, Captain Saab, look down, we were going from here to Shri Kartarpur Sahib about the Kartarpur corridor being opened up, preparing for that. And now you are raiding, authenticity is questionable, but
Okay.
it shattered this image that we were trying to build upon.
So
That's
that is
I'm
what you
saying.
meant. One second, Jakhar sir, that's what you meant when you said that his own greed, Channi's greed. You're referring to the cash, the corruption, the allegations?
It is again matter of perception, Vasuji. Nobody had seen the earlier regime being hand in glove with the Akalis. There were no meetings reported, no
Right.
nothing in the reports or any pictures
But-
or any news report. Neither was any corruption. It was the perception. And the perception of this government in these last 111 days, which are touted over and over again. How do I put it? The whole clan was working as if there is no tomorrow. Let's make use of every single day, not for addressing people's concern, but to address our own need for money. That's
My
it.
God.
This is as much as I can say.
That is-
and I
that
know
is-
a very serious allegation.
Very
yes,
serious.
But this was the perception a common man here carried, short of giving an advertisement in the paper that if you have something to be done, come to us. We are here for 101 days, 111 days. We'll do it. So this kind of a perception did us in.
That's a very serious allegation.
It is serious. It is
Okay.
serious.
Okay, let me ask you-
I'm not pulling it out of my head.
No. Fair enough. You're a senior leader. But let me also ask you that you referred to the fact that a Punjabi lady proposed Channi's name in the first place. Who is this? Are you referring to Ambika Soni?
I'm referring. Why do you want me to? Then they will, I don't want to name because she's very senior. She was the one who did it when they made him the leader of opposition. At that time also, I was the one who was removed and he was made the leader of opposition. And now again, it is she only, she recommended, she came up with the story that the Hindu cannot be a chief minister of Punjab. And then they asked, and then she said, no, I'm not interested. If you are not interested, whom? Then she said, he's a guy who's fit, who will get you a vote of a certain section of society. This is all it transpired.
Okay.
And she had the backing of Harish Rawat. I hold him doubly responsible. He started it all. He's the genesis, the fountainhead of all that has happened is Harish Rawat.
So,
and I'm sorry to say, I don't want to go into what the Germans would call Shade Freuden, but I believe divine justice has been done with the kind of fate he has met in Uttarakhand.
My God, that's very strong. You're referring to the fact
Yes,
that not only did the Congress lose in Uttarakhand, but he lost his own seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about his seat. I'm not talking about Uttarakhand.
Okay, but let me ask you. Okay, strong, very strong again. But because I can see how anguished you are and you are venting. But tell me, Jakhar Saab, you are blaming Harish Rawat constantly. You are saying he's responsible. You are blaming, Ambika Soni, Channi. But you have not said anything about the Congress leadership itself. I mean, weren't all these decisions, hold on, let me finish. Weren't these decisions taken fully with the sign-off of the Gandhi family, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Soni? They all knew what was happening. They were taking the ultimate big decisions. You don't hold them accountable at all?
Yeah, no, they were fed this information. That's where Rawat came in. Rahul Gandhi was not here in Punjab meeting with people here. Mr. Rawat was here for a year and a half. What did he do? This was his job. This was the job of these people who were reporting.
No, but
she is
Sidhu,
representing Punjab.
No, but Jakhar Saab, Sidhu was going to Delhi. He was getting himself photographed with one day Rahul Gandhi, one day with Priyanka Gandhi. So is it fair to completely not hold them accountable at all for the, as you put it, the mishandling of Punjab?
Mishandling of Punjab, I think all that what I can see in this, if they had met Mr. Sidhu for that long, then I would say they are poor judge of characters. That's all. They didn't know how the people are reacting to him here in Punjab. Rawat knew, he met everybody, he had long discussions, he met every day, he was here every other day. His state helicopter was, ministers were going and getting him from Dehradun every second day. He was here, virtually here, rather than running the campaign in Uttarakhand.
Okay, okay, you're still somewhat pulling your punches when it comes to the Gandhis, but I want to ask you...
No, I have no punches to pull against Gandhis. Whatever, it's my views. I stand by them.
Okay,
no,
but
no questions about it.
In conclusion, Jakhar Sahab, as we start to wrap up, you yourself said you are kind of checking out of politics. You are sort of withdrawing from politics. Is the Congress finished? Can the Congress still revive in Punjab, or is it?
Yes.
Yes. Or is the story over?
No, it's nothing over, because the kind of ragtag outfit which they have created, Aam Aadmi Party, is not going to last long. It will not even take long before their real face comes out. But we have to put a credible face here, not a guy who's suspect. A leader is not born or has no special trait but credibility. Somebody who workers could rely upon. And let me just, before you wrap up, Vasuji, give me 1 minute. It was on your channel when I spoke to you and you laughed at me when I said, I do not expect much from Mr. Channi, but let's hope the chair makes the man. Look what he has done to the position of chief ministership. It's a constitutional position. What mockery has he made of it?
Okay.
He is milking goats there. If this is the kind of icon Ambika Soni ji wants to put, I told Rahul Gandhi ji,
but
Rahul ji, when he was appointed and when I had a chance to travel with him from here to Delhi, and I met him the next day, I said, Rahul ji, I do not accept him as my leader. He wanted me to be the deputy CM. I said, sorry, I cannot even work with him. I do not accept him as my leader. Okay. My fault is, and I apologize to Congress worker, that rather than just thinking about me, I should have prevailed upon Rahul to please do not force this guy upon.
Okay, but Jakhar Sahab, let me ask you this. To those who may be watching this, they may turn it out and say that Sunil Jakhar Sahab is speaking out of a sense of personal grievance, that he was removed
precisely
as the state
of...
No, hear me out. He was removed as Congress state president. He was not made the chief ministerial face because you were on record saying most MLAs wanted you as chief minister. So you are speaking out of being personally aggrieved because you didn't get those opportunities. That's why you're hitting out.
I get your point, sir. I get your point. That's precisely why I could not prevail upon Rahul ji, because I felt the same thing, that if I say anything beyond this other than my own self, he will think that this is a clear-cut case of sour grapes. Sorry, I didn't. I said sorry, but I told him I will not accept him as my leader. Otherwise, which politician of these ones which you see here would refuse?
So you're saying it's not sour, when you're hitting out like this, it's not sour grapes?
I do not want them to compound this mistake again. The way she is trying to build him as a hero, a guy who has caught with the hand in the till and has, for a leader you need chaal, chalan, charitra. There's nothing which inspires confidence in him. You want to build him as a hero, as a mascot for Congress? Sorry, I will not accept him. I didn't accept him then and I won't accept him now. I'm giving my views. I'm out of politics. I'm free to say what I want to say.
Of course. No, of course you can say what, that's...
but Congress worker deserves better, Vasuji.
Okay.
Congress worker in Punjab has faced the atrocities of Akali BJP regime for 10 years. They stood by it, put a credible face as the CLP leader of opposition and a PCC president, and they will still rally around him. Get rid of these guys, sycophants. I expected plain speaking in the CWC, but these kind of sycophants are again trying to justify their choice. This is what prompted my tweet. That's all. I don't want to vilify anybody.
Fair enough.
I said I'm responsible.
Fair enough. Very strong words from you, Jakhar Sahab. Thanks very much indeed. We'll of course try and get a Congress also to respond to all this, especially your allegation that in the last months of the month and a half, the government was seen, the perception was that they were seen as simply trying to make money, and that was a negative that hurt the Congress.
Don't just ask the Congress, ask the people of Punjab also.
Ask the people of Punjab. Okay, we will do that, Jakhar Sahab. But thank you for coming on and for speaking so frankly. Thank you very much indeed.